the city manager's report. Where do they go?
Good evening. I have a couple items that are on the docket for tonight. First on our agenda is our recreation department fees. We have an ordinance that is listed. This ordinance will memorialize our recreation fee schedule, and in particular our non-resident fee for open gym. The daily fee for open gym will now be $25 per day with a 2-hour restriction under the discretion of the recreation superintendent. Our next ordinance that is on the docket is in reference to ice cream peddlers permits. This will amend Chapter 90 of the code under food and drink. This will allow for the sale of freshly prepared ice cream and frozen desserts. All vendors will need to comply with all local ordinances and health department fees, and the current annual fee is $175. Our third ordinance that is also on the docket tonight is in reference to our privately owned salt storage. This is an ordinance for compliance with DEP stormwater regulations. The purpose is to prevent stored salt from being exposed to stormwater, and within this ordinance there are requirements that must be followed for public health and safety. Now I'm going to invite our city engineer, Chris Wheaton, to present the CSO and construction project updates.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Chris.
Just a quick look at our major project overview. This is the same as last time, except we have updated the bid dates for anticipated award for East Kennedy Generator, as well as the various sewer infrastructure improvements. Those awards are anticipated to have been recommended to us, and award is anticipated at the next council meeting, as well as the bid opening for Prospect Avenue has been assigned, and that's April 4th. Jumping into our CSO or combined sewer separation projects, just to put some context on it, we're currently working on the Anderson Street drainage area shown in pink, which is going to add more than another 20 acres to our separation efforts for the combined sewer system, and follows about 75 or 80 acres of improvements that the city has already made. This Anderson Street project is to the west of Railroad Avenue and encompasses a portion of Clay Street, Ferdinand Place, James Street, Berry Street, and Stanley Place. We've updated the presentation with this schematic that shows you, it might be a little hard to read from a distance, but gives you an overview of what's been completed. So we are still coordinating with our utility companies for gas relocation and water main relocation and service connections that need to be updated to accommodate the project. The sanitary sewer installation is occurring first, and you can see the completion status in the figure and comments. Our non-CSO project right now is Voorhees Lane. As you know, this project has been on hold as we have been awaiting funding for the project and the discussion of a change order. I do want to alert you that the change order will be over the local finance board guidelines of 20% change order. There are provisions in the local finance board rules that allow for change orders under certain circumstances to be awarded. And so we have prepared a justification as well as just an explanation for the city manager's office, as well as our city attorney who has prepared the resolution of approval accordingly. If there's any questions on that, I'm happy to address.
So my question is, and I think I've brought this up before, but so the project's overseen, this is a suburban project, correct?
Yes, it is.
So you have a transformer, which takes the voltage and adjusts it to what the pump requires.
Yes.
Somehow, and nobody on this council up here was involved in it, it went from, that's what's supposed to happen, to it didn't happen. So where does the responsibility on that lie, and who made the mistake? That's what we want to know, because really, there should be some liability. We're looking at change orders to pay for somebody's mistake, is what it comes down to.
We did look at that very carefully, and we also looked at whether we would not have incurred this cost if the mistake had been caught earlier. So I will show you the picture that shows the main shut-off box with a very clear label on the front of that box that says voltage 208 volts.
Right.
And that's what the engineer relied upon. It's understandable that they may not have probed those lines as that's a very, that's a hazardous exercise to go,
So you're saying that box was mismarked?
The box was mismarked by the city.
It was mismarked by the city? We mismarked it?
I don't know who else would have put a label on there.
I could look back into that to see who did that. So, all right.
So while,
The plaque that the motor has, there has to be the voltage should be there, and that little plaque over the motor or the pump. So that should be have the voltage what that motor need to run. So what have we got? What are the service coming into from the PSNG? 232?
I believe it's 240 coming in.
Yeah, 232. Anyway, so you need a step down transformer to go to 208.
Yes.
But the mark has to be in the motor, the old pump, have to be there.
It may be, those pumps are submerged normally, so
I know that
guess
it
I
can be
haven't-
submerged by one, but somebody had the schematic what they got before. So if you look at the schematic, we haven't even looked at the pump, the spec that has to be there, and the paperwork related to that pump station.
Mhm.
So whoever made the design for that station, the pump, the motor, they have to have the spec in writing, in papers. So how are you gonna make the design for something that's 208 and you buy 232 or vice versa?
So I guess the argument for the change order is, I wish this mistake had been discovered earlier. We still would have needed a transformer if it had been discovered a year, 2 years ago.
Okay, but anyway, okay, we got a
Wait,
problem,
wait,
now the
wait.
motor run 208. What is the reason take so long to get a transformer? To try to step down the voltage and the way that pump can work? What
What's that?
reason take so long? We had the problem already like a 6
Why does the
months away.
transformer take so long?
Hmm?
Why did the transformer take so
Yeah.
long? It's supply and demand. There's a very serious backlog in this kind of equipment right now. We were fortunate that Kramer did agree to purchase the transformer on the word,
The transformer is like a 68,000, right?
pardon?
The transformer is
I
68,000.
don't have the specific
I know.
model number at this time, I'm afraid.
Chris, my question is, if we knew what the proper voltage was when we started this whole process, could we have bought a part that was compatible with it and there would be no need for any type of transformer?
I suppose that's possible. I'd have to,
Because that's the key, because then you save all this aggravation, you save all the transformer,
All the
just
time.
by doing some little due diligence when you were specking out the job. And that's the issue that we have.
yeah.
My issue, quite honestly, is I cannot agree with 30% of change orders. We knew this a year ago, we should went out to bid, and did it properly.
It has
Right,
to run on
it's
mobile.
not the right thing to do.
So
They say the voltage. and
Now
the
we're,
frequency.
in the 11th hour, and now we're worrying about this stuff. To me, it's just not acceptable. It's not project management, we're not managing anything.
we have prepared a very detailed justification as to why this is allowed per the local finance board rules, and
You're not listening to what I'm saying to you. We knew this a year ago. We should have followed the correct process for this and went out to bid like we should on anything. Nothing should be 30% over what the original is. I agree with the local finance board. Those rules are there for a reason. And I just can't possibly accept that this is the proper way to consider things.
so I would just like to say that there is we are, there is a need for this pump station to go online.
Of course there is,
We
we
do have,
handled it on our side incorrectly, and we should have done it the way the local finance board and anybody else that has any idea of how to manage a project that would say we're gonna allow for 30% overrun. No.
it is unusual, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it if
It
the
could have been handled
circumstances weren't.
correctly, it hasn't been handled correctly, and that's the issue. And I think we have to look at, we have to do, just like anyone else, not only was the specification incorrect, but Suburban now continues to add to their own pot because it's taking so long. So we're continuing to pay them more money on top of everything else.
They are not adding to the, we have not furnished them a change order for any sort of extension of time for any redesign, or we did offer them a portion of compensation for the transformer, again, because if the box.
I don't want to argue, it was their error.
If
I
the-
just think the whole thing is a nightmare, but that's my opinion.
And I apologize, just if the box had been labeled correctly, we wouldn't have been in this situation, so that's,
And if we would have, as soon as we found this out, if we would have went out and knew it was going to be an overrun that was this large, we would have followed the process as outlined by the local finance board and done it correctly.
we will.
That's my argument.
So just to be clear, we will still need an over 20% change order for the steel sheeting that's been left in place by Kramer to accommodate the soil conditions. So regardless of the transformer, we will still need the over 20% change order. We can't compensate anybody else for the steel sheeting that Kramer put in. Kramer has to be compensated for that, or should be.
But that's another board issue.
We should talk to the folks that made the mistake, just like if we made the mistake, they would be talking to us. And we should look at this whole picture and get contributors to help the city out in
And
this.
on
We
our
shouldn't be
end,
eating this whole thing.
on
My
our
opinion.
end, Catherine, you look into who from the city mislabeled that?
Yes.
Because that needs to go in your file, because it's a major, major problem for the city financially and time-wise, and for flooding.
Yes, we'll set up a meeting, Chris, and we'll revisit this for next meeting.
Certainly, yeah, I'm happy to review it in detail at any point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Moving on to our FEMA or Green Street flood mitigation project. We are making good progress with the first project to come out of this grant that we're working on for flood mitigation. The first project is the CCTV and base mapping, and we're now 30 miles in to our CCTV program, and we're about 85% complete on that project. And just a reminder that we have still been coordinating. We're getting some invert shots coming up for the BCUA interceptor in River Street that we will have to cross. Moving on to parks, Carver Park is we're certainly coming into the warm weather now. I was optimistic for this week, but it's been a lot of rain. We are removing some of the soil that was excavated from the site, as well as and waiting for the good weather. The backboards have been installed, the fence is installed, the lights are installed, the electric is installed, and
Have you tested the lights, are they functioning? You know?
I would have to check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've done a complete system
Check,
startup,
sure.
but I believe they would have flashed that when they installed the controls for the lights. And moving on to our Johnson Park Sports Complex, I will be receiving the updated documents this evening, and we're very close to being out to bid on this project, and we've discussed in the past about what the project will include, and any questions?
Well, we spoke about the lines,
Do
and
we have a better picture so we can see the lines that they're supposedly in there?
there's not lines on this.
We can,
The dots are not gonna work. Football wants lines. There's millions and millions, probably $20 to $30 million on this. And we're basically functioning, looking at it, aiming it at one sport. Leo, I know you're a soccer guy, right? But if I was building a football field in this town, you can rest assured, the lines for soccer would be on it, all the lines. Council people are already getting calls from football people about this. Johnson Park never got lined for football, the outdoor field. I'm not voting for this project without football lines. And to be honest with you, all sports that we have in Hackensack that use a field should have the appropriate lines on it so that the children and taxpayers can use that field. That's the way it should be. That's only fair. I don't know what,
Okay.
the high school has football lines on it. You play soccer on it. Why can't they play soccer like that here?
Listen, I don't want to tell them one sport to the other, but I'm following that. The people that play soccer is not allowed to practice in the football field in Hackensack High School. Never. Okay?
That's the Board of Ed, that's not the city.
Okay, but anyway, this was discussed, right, with Jerry, myself, Vinny, and Chris, and whatever. The line they're going to be marked to play flag football, you don't see it here clear, but they there. It's every 10 yards, they are marked. And here for baseball, you got the bases, 2 fields, they are marked. And you get a big or a bigger drawing or whatever, you remember that we agreed to mark every 10 yards, the little lines.
Yeah.
They're here.
Can I ask you why the soccer lines aren't dotted?
Huh?
Why aren't the soccer lines dotted like the football lines?
Because this was almost, the project, this was almost 70% indoor soccer. It's like when you're gonna make field number 7 and Fushini Park,
I'm
and
not
you're gonna have a
any
football field.
agreement that this was supposed to be
Okay,
70%
John.
for soccer.
Huh?
Nobody made any agreement that this project or field was gonna be
But-
70% for soccer.
Okay.
I mean, you can't shut
So
out
if you're
people
gonna
who are
mark,
paying for the-
okay, you're gonna mark the basketball courts and Carver Park, you're gonna mark it to play pickleball? Huh?
Not on basketball courts, no, you can play
Oh,
with tennis.
so what is the
It's a
reason you're
similar
gonna
sport.
This field, they're so small to play
Leo,
football
how
and mark the
many
line all the
football
way.
games have been played at Johnson Park outdoor field? 0.
Because they don't wanna play there.
That's not true.
Listen,
Football has not
They
had,
play, listen, they play in the middle of school.
junior
They play
football has
football.
not had a home since they started playing football, right? They play in a goose crap infested field at Fashini Park, right? And that's it.
They play flat
Or
football
they
in the
play in the
middle
high
of
school.
school. They play flat football in the middle of school and the coach they put it.
I'm talking
the
about
teeth,
tackle football.
and they mark it.
I'm not talking flag football,
Flag
I'm talking
football.
tackle football. And this council, to my knowledge, wants lines on that field.
So, okay, do whatever you guys wanna do, I am out.
There's also, no markings for baseball diamonds. I thought that it was supposed to
They
be
here.
a different,
They here, look at it.
okay, I thought there's supposed to be a different shaded area showing the end field.
We have discussed that, Councilman, yes, and I have not received, final direction on that.
Okay, all right, again, I'm voting against it until I see that as well.
Sure. So well, there's no vote on this for this evening. I think the next anticipated vote would be for authorization to bid the project, which could be at the next meeting. So we will work with the council to resolve what markings are desired for the field. We could also,
Chris, I have one question for you. To go out to bid, can you just confirm we should have this decision made regarding the lines prior to us voting to go out to bid?
Otherwise, we'll be looking at multiple change orders.
yeah, that's,
Because I don't
yeah.
want to have the change orders if possible, to avoid them.
We're gonna have a 2-month bid period. There will be ample period within the 2-month bid period, I think, to update the plan for the field markings. Nobody's gonna be ordering field materials for at least 2 months from going out to bid. So we would have the opportunity to put out an amendment to the bid, as, so that the bids would come in with the proper field markings that the council desires.
Okay, thank you.
I say do it right the first time. I say, don't go out until you have it the way everybody agrees it should be.
What else we got?
All right, next project is moving on to roads. So just, this one has been out of circulation for a few months, just the update in red that we do have an update from the signal supplier. that it's should be delivered to them in the week of April 22nd. And so yeah, we're tracking that and updating, you know, that estimate routinely, but it hasn't changed for some time, so we think that that date is going to hold, and we should be able to complete the signalization.
So Passaic and Summit, those lights are being taken out, correct? Or
Yeah,
we're
they're going to be in
back
replaced.
order, we're waiting?
They're
They're
back
supposed to be
ordered,
here in
yes, it's
middle
the
of
black-
April. Okay.
It's the black
Is
color.
there
I
any
noticed-
change to the operation or the left turn lights now, or?
I have to check for you. I don't believe so.
I don't think we got
There's
enough
not
room.
enough room for
But that's a
two.
nightmare up there with the left turns.
I'll double
Coming here
check.
tonight, it was all backed up all the way down.
Mhm.
Safety.
They might want to check the one pole on the, I'm gonna say, northwest corner. It's leaning pretty bad, the light pole, the actual traffic signal pole. It's probably at like a 15, 20% pitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
On Summit and Passaic.
Really?
That will definitely be replaced.
Yeah,
I never noticed.
we'll see it.
It's just, the
You're going
traffic
up
backs
the
up there
walls,
terrible. The left turns going west is terrible.
Summit's not wide enough.
I know. No, Pacific's not west.
Pacific's not west.
Pacific's not west.
So our next project is the Prospect Ave pedestrian safety project. And with the bid opening for the, it's in bid right now, and the bid opening will be in about a month. And that project includes 2 flashing beacons for pedestrian crossing, as well as ADA compliant ramps improvements. And then moving on to our city offices at the John Earl Building, right over on Union Street. We're making good progress with the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. We are now moving on to interior finishes and painting. The ceiling is being installed, and we are getting going on caulking the windows, which are in need of that. And I just wanted to put in a couple of public service announcements for this evening. The first one has to do with the NJDOT Route 80 improvements project westbound. It will be a significant project taking about 10 years to complete from 2027 to 2037 is the construction period for this project. And so there is now a virtual public information center. There's a board on display here in the meeting, as will be down in the City Hall entryway for anybody who wants to take a look at that. You can also visit the online center to get more project information and for the public to make comments on the project until April 19th. The next public service announcement is just a reminder that if you have a streetlight problem, you are welcome to report it independently online, and this is the link that you can go to. Certainly, if you go to pscng.com and search for report an outage, it will bring you to this page as well.
So real quick on that. This is for lights that are in place that where the bulb is out, basically.
Yes.
What about an area, and I don't know whether I brought this up here before, I know I brought it up to, actually Lauren Ziza, who now works for public service. In front of, on State Street, by the middle school, on that side, there is no street light for blocks. It is dark, there's a bus stop there as well. And if people go off the bus, it's very, very dark. So how do we go about?
So I know you mentioned this, Mayor, a couple meetings ago. I believe this is the same area, and I drove, as I left the meeting, I drove down that way, and I didn't see any lights out, and
But these weren't out, there's no lights, period.
there's no lights, period. So you wanna
There's no
add
street
lights.
lights. On the
So-
one side of the street, it's really dark.
So we can make a request. We may have to pay, but we can look into
That's
that.
just, the kids walk home when it gets dark early, kids in after-school programs, they're walking home in the dark from here. That's, one of my concerns, so.
And just following up on that, I don't know if this is in our power or not, but the New Jersey Transit bus stop right there, in the morning, when you're merging off of Passaic and you're coming across, and there's a bus there, because it's so close to the corner and the lot, and it's just trying to, it is, I think it should be, it is holding traffic on Passaic, people
That would
can't
be,
turn
we'd have
left.
to handle that with New Jersey Transit.
It is, because it's literally right by the corner. So if you have one bus there, you're taking up all that room from the corner to the bus stop.
Maybe we can work with our traffic engineer to see if there's a way to.
There's kids, I mean, people,
Safety
parents go in and
reasons.
drop the kids off in that,
Yeah.
you know, it's just very dangerous, you can't see past the bus when kids are crossing that road.
Got that, Vincenzo? Okay, next.
And the next public service announcement is again just a reminder, don't flush wipes down the toilet, please. They're, even though they say they're flushable, they're not, and they cause big problems in our sewer system. As well as oil and grease. Oil, yeah, keep your fats and oils out of the sewer as well.
We had a major backup, I worked at the hospital, we had a major backup there. When the city got in there, it was just loaded with rubber gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rubber gloves and wipes,
Yeah, rubber gloves would be a no-no also.
yes.
And any further questions on the presentation, Steve?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay. What you got?
I think that's
That's it?
okay.
Motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward. Seeing no members of the public. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, good evening.
Hello, my name is Darlene Bodie Zambrana. I'm a resident at 154 Clinton Place. I have CCU in previous emails about a concern that I have in my blog, which is very questionable because it also, I understand the argument that the city is giving me, but one part just doesn't make sense to me. Sorry, I wasn't quite finished. But in my presentation, there's a survey about my property.
Can you let that up, because we can't see it?
Okay. Sorry, the tape doesn't really want it to work,
Thank you, Chris.
even though it's a double sided. So in Exhibit A, you see the entire map from the tax assessor's office. And it shows the block and lot from my section, which is Clinton Place, between Grant and all the way up to Summit Avenue. And Exhibit B, which is here to my right, is my survey when I purchased that house back in April 2017. And they told me everything about what's my responsibility as a resident. The attorney also mentioned to me, the closing attorney told me about the private lane. At that point, so that's part of Clinton Place, share a common, a private lane. The city is telling me that because it's a private lane, you guys are not responsible. All right, so I went back and forth emails almost 2 years ago with your city manager. I have copies of the email here. I took pictures of my private lane because it's not maintained. Okay, I want to maintain it myself. But unfortunately, I'm in a block of Clinton Place that I have multi-dwellings on the side. So it's me and my neighbors, the only ones standing with those Victorian beautiful houses, which I truly appreciate. The house is wonderful, it's so beautiful, strong bones. Anyways, so I love the house, purchased the house. I thought it has some potential, the entire block has some potential, but there's two multi-dwellings that are very problematic. Okay, as a resident, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that is unnecessary. And I get that people need to live somewhere else, because we need low-income housing. Okay, but it's problematic, so the private lane is not well taken care of. But if you go back to, and I try to get permits, records, if their other private lane has been paved and if they did obtain permits. Because I wanted my private lane. Thank you.
Just so you're aware, I don't know, I haven't seen you at one of our council meetings, so we have a 3-minute public speaking limit,
Okay,
and you just hit that. I'm willing to give you another minute, just so we can,
okay, just let me,
this is gonna have to continue with the city manager's office for
understood.
this. I
Okay,
am well aware of the private lane between on Clinton, that's been there since I was a kid.
I have, yeah.
but okay, so, from private lane, from block 445, that area is all paved. Okay, so I asked the city, so how did they pave it? Oh, what the residents did, they needed to take a permit. I'm asking them for the permits, where are the records? If those individuals, so who did it? Was it the citizens or was the city? So whoever paid that, why they cannot pave my area that I'm being affected? Because right now, if you drive my private lane, I'm being affected because this is deep depth of potholes. And in your ordinance, local ordinance chapter 100, it says that it should be maintained and it should be safe. Regardless of private or public, it needs to be safe, because if my kid is driving his bicycle, then we have a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It should be maintained, but my point, and one of the point I'm gonna make is, there's a big difference between public and private. So a public road would be maintained by the city. A private road would be maintained by the people who either own that road or share that road. And my example is, if we were to fix the potholes on what's considered a private lane, we would have to fix every driveway in the city of Hackensack on personal property.
Okay, so
Same exact thing.
I understand the argument, but what happened with the other block?
I have no idea. I'd have to.
Mayor,
That's all.
Could I comment on
Sure.
this?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think we have spoken before from the city manager's office, and we did issue, just this past week, we did have property maintenance go out to the private lane, and they have been issued at the multi-dwelling to take care of the potholes. That
Okay.
were reported. I think I had sent you an email earlier today with an update. I don't know if you had seen it.
No, I haven't seen it
And
as
I also
well.
sent it to your father, so he was aware, so that is going to be addressed by the actual property owner.
Okay,
So that you're aware, and also the private lane, I know you said that one area that is paved, we were unable to verify when it was paved, I guess it was many years ago, we did go through the building department, but we have not been able to verify. But we will continue to have them maintain that area that isn't paved as much as possible, so that they have received a notice to handle that area that you're reporting.
all right, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Private,
Yeah,
not
so
the
the property, yes, property maintenance, because it is a private lane, the multi-dwelling property is responsible to fill those potholes, and they have been noticed.
So I have a question, because I have the private lane behind me. If you fill in potholes as a property owner, do you need a permit for that? To fill in potholes in your driveway?
I'm not 100%
I don't
sure.
see
I think because it's on private.
So that's probably,
It's a small repair, basically.
Yeah,
that might be why there's no record of that for,
Yes.
Well, I was trying to pave my private lane, my area, where I get out of my garage and cover the potholes, but they told me that I need a permit.
For paving, yes.
for paving, but not covering
Yeah.
potholes.
Okay,
I'll
Potholes is just a
verify for you,
repair.
and I'll
I
let
think
you know.
there's a difference, like filling a pothole
Filling
versus
out.
ripping up and repaving everything is a difference, yeah.
all right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, motion to close? Second.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
All right.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that, we will be back at 8 o'clock.
Do we need to go back into executive session?
No. Do we have anything in executive session we need to go?
I covered my,
We covered ours out here.
Okay.
No.
We're gonna know.
Which one?